My name is Jeff Young. I am so grateful to be a capable, clever, confident, at least on the outside, and competent creative force of nature. I am prepared to be unprepared for the moment, but nobody will ever know. Oops. Because I'm in the right place at the right time, and because I chose to be here. I am pleased and proud to be your General Session 1 presenter for today. And let me bring up my slides. Let's see if I do not have difficulties. Yaha! Then I need that thing. So since I'm not being recorded, I can mess up all I want to. Welcome to Club Officer Training. Why you're serving as a club officer and have you done so previously? So by a show of hands or throw hands on the screen, as they say. Probably not that way. Tell me who has been a club officer before, and if you have not been a club officer before, all right, there we go. Got a bunch of you. Cool. This is the brand new Session 1 General Session, and I'm going to try to get through this a little faster than an hour.
Jeff, your slides are half off screen. You need to move it up a little bit.
Thank you. All right. Is there a black box covering the screen slide now? Or are we good?
We got it all now.
Okay, cool. So, for those of you who have done so previously, some of this will be old hat to you. The cool thing about the General Session 1 is that it encapsulates some of the things that club officer trainers like myself have forgotten over the years to mention to the new officers. But because this is brand new, bear with me. And the first thing, of course, is that when we are Toastmasters, we agree to the Toastmasters promise. The sixth principle is to serve as your club officer when called upon to do so. We are grateful to each of you for serving your club as a club officer, and to remember that Toastmasters is just not about public speaking, but it's also about public leadership as well. The club officer training is divided into 3 one-hour sessions, of which is the first one. During this session, we'll be discussing the transferable skills you learn as a club officer, the Toastmasters mission statements, and what they mean for each level or organization. We'll spend most of this session focusing on the club strategic plan to ensure that your club is a quality club to serve the needs of your members. So, the second half an hour, we'll focus on individual club officer roles, separate sessions for each club officer role. That's our usual breakout sessions. And the third session brings everyone back together to discuss leadership and team development, club administration, club branding, and building your club calendar. Because when you plan, you can succeed. When you fail to plan on failing, as the saying goes. Now, here's where we're supposed to ask club officers what you think will be the key transferable skills that you learned during the time of club officers. But the way this is set up is that the list are things that, like these things, communicating effectively, which basically means listening more than you talk, leading as a group, because that's why there are 7 officers and not 1, team building, which is what you're hopefully going to be doing after this, strategic planning, again, if we're planning, then we know what we're going to be doing, and if you're improvising, you're not. Financial management, how many of you have a club budget? If not, you should get one. And time management, because before you know it, it's May, and you're like, oh, we need 20 people to get their level 1s before we get to be distinguished. Hopefully not. And finally, critical thinking. How do we change course when things go wrong? Because believe me, things will go wrong. For instance, for today, I am not the official trainer, but I'm the backup to the backup trainer, but somehow I'm here. And this is what I mean about embracing the moment and being a leader in the right place at the right time. And finally, problem solving, because nothing will ever go right the way you plan it. You might ask, why do you need to have a plan in the first place? Well, because having a plan means you have a place to get started from. Okay. Moving on. Not do that. So, in the chat, tell me why you decided to step up to serve to be club officer and what the benefits are to you and your club. And yes, I will accept I got voluntold because that happens sometimes. It happened to me the first time I became the club secretary, and I thought that's great. I can take notes. Yes, another voluntold. One of the things about Toastmasters is that we give you leadership opportunities, whether you like them or not. I appreciate giving back as a mentor because someone supported you. And I can tell you that my journey in Toastmasters started as a remedial communications assignment by my manager, who was also in Toastmasters. And I seem to have forgotten to quit. It's been 15 years. Remember, every year, you stepped up. Okay, your turn. Meet other leaders. That's a good one. When you come to TLI, it's not just about showing up for officer training credit, but also meeting other people who are on the same page as you are or wanting to be there. Asking, how can I help Linda, my mentor and confidant? Linda keeps me in leadership because she thinks that I know what I'm doing. Trish says, I was asked to be president, so I said yes. I was also asked to be president because no one else would do it. Wanting the club to keep going, that's a good one. Toastmasters is going through a lot of changes right now, and keeping membership is like holding water in your hands. It kind of trickles out when you're not looking. Grow professionally and personally. Lisa, excellent. That is the core reason we're here as well. All right, let's move on. Thank you for your notes. The benefits of being a club leader include leadership development. As we've mentioned, given the opportunity when no one knows who you are is a surprisingly galvanizing thing that happens. Learning how to provide exceptional support and service to your club members. Networking and idea exchange. Odds on, no matter what the problem is, someone's run into it before. No matter how high you go, you're not alone. You have the people supporting you. And access to resources. We have a whole website that can keep redesigning over the years, and if you can find this stuff on there, whenever they move it, there's plenty of things that will teach you how to be a better speaker, a better leader, and also give you information you didn't need to know. But it's also good to actually learn the ropes because odds on, again, these are problems that people solved before, and these are ways you learn by running into those problems. Even experienced club officers benefit from attending training sessions, as new information and resources are constantly being distributed by Toastmasters International, like today. Okay. The other benefits are improved club operations, where you can better manage and direct programs. You'd be surprised how running events gets you more organized, and having those tools at your disposal is good. And this actually are skills that you can take outside of Toastmasters as well. Because once you get the idea of running an event is just finding the people, delegating, you can keep going and discover that these skills are transferable. Okay, now, how many of you know what the 3 mission statements our Toastmasters are? And let's see if I can actually close this chat window for a second without destroying things. Do I hear a volunteer from the audience?
The district mission?
Yes, I'm looking for the Toastmasters International mission. All right, I'm just going to throw this up on the screen because it's better this way of making people guess. The main mission of Toastmasters from Dr. Ralph C. Smedley himself is we empower individuals to become more effective communicators and leaders. And what that means to you is that this is why you're here. For the district statement, which basically starts from the club growth director to create a marketing plan, the public relations manager to create a communications plan, the program quality director to present training like today's, and they didn't actually list the district director in here. District leaders and supporting clubs and conducting quality club meetings area directors is a direct link to your clubs. And how many area directors are in here today? Please throw up a clapping emoji so I know how many of you are prepared to be here for your clubs. Well, anyway, the district mission is we build new clubs and support all clubs in achieving excellence. Or as they say up at the top, the main thing is the main thing. And remember that the more clubs we have in the district, the more Toastmasters get the opportunity to be better speakers and better leaders. And finally, the club mission is we provide a supportive and positive learning environment and experience in which members are experienced in developing communications and leadership skills. I hate reading off of slides, by the way. It is because it gives us confidence and also creates personal growth. So those are the three main levels of organization. And when you get the confidence to do what I'm doing right now, you get over your stage fright sometimes. Okay, I'm going to go over the Toastmasters Beyond Your Club. And this is the lovely brand new slide that they provided for this original session, which we talk about all levels of Toastmasters, starting with the club. So at the club level, you're supposed to be more effective communicators and leaders, as we just mentioned. What's the next level above this? Anyone have a guess?
Area.
Area is well, hold on a second. Okay, that's the club level. So that's the club developing skills for positive enjoyable environment, because you can't do this by yourself. Well, some of us have been during the pandemic, but the idea is you go to your club and you get the feedback from your club members, and it's your club that makes or breaks how you keep your members. Being an officer is being inspired and also being inspiring to your club members, because while all clubs do things differently but the same, every club has its own character and every club has its own tone. And I like to ask clubs, are you a creative club, a humorous club, a motivational club, or strictly business? And then I ask them, what are two words to describe your club? If you can come up with those things, you can essentially explain what your club is to the person who walked in the door who doesn't know what Toastmasters is. All right, above that should be area. Here we go. 46 clubs are grouped into an area that is led by an area director. Area directors are the direct support for the clubs through club visits and area council meetings. Area directors are usually appointed by the district director, and which just basically means we start the year by going, help anyone want to be an area director, because we all start as club members just like you in the audience. You should have been a club officer for at least a year before you can become an area director, and preferably president or VP of education. And I remember that when I first became an area director during the pandemic, I thought, how am I going to get to all these clubs? Zoom is my friend. But also, doing those area visits more than the one time you're supposed to helps you get to know people outside of your club. That's the real reason for doing this. Also, to have people to help run your area contest, because you're going to need a bunch of them. But we'll go over that in area director training. For today, we're just going to move on. At the division level, each of the area directors has a direct report, the division director. Yes, woohoo, area director is hello, Christina. She is my division director going into this year, so I'm looking forward to getting to talk to her more. Oh, did I mention that I'm the immediate past district director for District 57? Which means I don't have to do this anymore, normally. Okay, division directors coach their area directors in how to mentor and support the clubs in their areas to achieve excellence, which basically means they've been an area director before, and so they know what not to do. Listen to your division director if you're an area director. And then at the top level, the districts. The divisions in our district, there are 6 of them, 3 for District 57, 3 for District 4. composed of all the areas and the clubs underneath it. And you have the district director, which is Maureen. You have the program quality director, which is Nadine. And you have the club growth director, which is Rajesh. Public relations manager is Tiffany. I don't think we have an administration manager yet. And I have not met the finance manager yet. Maureen, help me for a second. Who is our finance manager? And you're on mute.
Pardon me, Jeff. I'm sorry. I had to answer the door. Were you asking me?
Yes. Who is our finance manager?
Oh, that is Nini who's on the phone. She's
Okay.
on the meeting.
Excellent, Nini. We should talk. But the
We'll
point
talk.
is that thank you, Vereen. It takes a very, very, very large village to run a district, and you would never know that if you stayed inside your club. So thank you again for coming to district officer training. And this is where you become the leader that you didn't know you could be. And certainly, I didn't know I could be that when I first got started, but you learn by doing. Okay, moving on. Let's see. Oh, sorry. Above the district level, there are regions because District 205 is only one of several regions in the entire world. That's why we're Toastmasters International. And then above that is the Toastmasters Board of Directors, which are region advisors who most of you will never get to meet, the international presidents, and the giant-sized staff of world headquarters, which are on the other end of the phone when you call because you'll need to at some point. And of course, the presidents of the Toastmasters International thing. And if you ever get to be higher level leadership, you'll get to meet all these people, and they're even better Toastmasters than I hope to ever be. Okay. And by the way, if you're wondering, because this question comes up ever so often, all the leadership things are volunteer positions. Even as district director, I didn't get paid for anything because this is a labor of love. This is a labor of inspiration and lifelong learning and experience. However, you do get paid back for things if you incur expenses. That's what district bucks are for. Okay. Let's see, moving on. Now, in the district support for clubs, you have the district website at toastmasters.org. It has everything you could possibly need to know in multiple languages. You just have to know how to search things and get past the parts where it gives you things in the wrong format. It essentially contains mostly the educational stuff, which is pathways and Basecamp, marketing, public relations information, district newsletters, announcements, upcoming events, training opportunities, which is also on our district website, d205tm.org, and also lovely, fun videos about educational things. And the training events like today are just one of many that we've seen during the year. We also have educational programs and annual incentive programs that are designed to help you attract more members and to educate the ones that, oh, cool. I see Savitha has stepped up to be admin manager. Excellent. All these opportunities to increase your skills and network with other members and leaders. Okay, your area director is supposed to visit your club at least twice a year. If they haven't shown up by late November, expect an email. And if they haven't shown up by late May, expect a harried phone call because the area director's responsibility is to assist clubs. They're not just there to report on you, even though they have to write a report, but how we understand as the trio how the district is doing is those area director reports. So if you're an area director, please be detailed. If you are a club and the area director hasn't shown up, ask. Sometimes we have to have the division director step up. Sometimes we've had to have other people step up to do the visit. But No club exists in a vacuum, and so the area director visits are our primary line of defense communication to let you know that yes, we are out here as a district and an organization. And of course, I'm not going to post a link in the chat that they have in these slides. I was like, can I do that? Oh, cool. New design, new slide design, and it has information in here. Okay, additional communication channels. You also get junk mail from, oops, sorry, I should have said out loud. Junk mail from World Headquarters. That is the leader letter, and that is in fact for you if you are a club officer. And this tells you about upcoming deadlines and various things that are going on. Like, for example, you might have seen that the new path price has gone up to $35. Most unfortunate, but they haven't raised it in 30 years from $20. So kind of one of those things. Anyway, what it's for is that there are ways to get information from the district, and how you get it is out there. You just kind of need to make sure to go look for it. If nothing else, contact your area director and you will get there from here. Okay, so we got club officer training, we got that, area directors. Hey, look, I should have clicked this thing. Okay, now the next bit, and this is one of the most important things. If you tuned me out, please listen for a moment. Most of you have heard of the Club Success Plan. If you haven't, you need to know about it because somebody in your officer corps, it could be you, it could be an officer who's not here today, you have to submit a Club Success Plan by the end of September to be eligible to achieve Distinguished Club status each year. It used to be optional, it's no longer optional. Otherwise, you will get frantic phone calls from your area director and division director at the end of September saying, please fill this out. And if you miss that phone call, you don't fill it out, and it's got to be filled out and the button pushed that says submit, your club cannot be distinguished even if you have 11 DCP points. And I'll explain what those are in a second, that they're only 10. But the point is that we had some clubs this year past that missed distinguished because they didn't fill out their club success plan. So again, all clubs must submit a club success plan by the end of September. That's September 30th, and please do it by 10 o'clock at night Pacific time if you're local to this area, because if you do it after midnight Colorado time, that is too late. So we discovered last year that clubs that try to submit it by paper, too late.
Is there a place I can check to see if we did?
It'll be on the dashboards.toastmasters.org, and it'll have a Y there. It'll also have in your club, it should have some panel indicator for that. They rolled this out last year, and it is unfortunate that it was buggy, which is why we'll do it before. You have to do it for the 29th if you can. You can resubmit multiple times. You may as well just do it next month when you first get started and just get it done so it's out of the way. It's expected to be a living document, and I'll probably come back to this in a little bit for later slides. Okay. The club officers are planning for the club success. That's what the club success plan, hence the name, is for. And the Distinguished Club program is essentially part of this. Okay, moving on. So I'm going to talk about the club success plan a little bit more because this is your big blueprint for how you succeed this year. When you go to Club Central, and once your officers, assuming you've been minted by now, when you go to your Toastmasters profile, scroll down. It's actually below the ABM part. A lot of people can't find this because it's that far down. You'll see a button that says Club Central. Click on that, and you should be able to access that. And if you want to during the break, or if you're a new officer, do it when you can. Now it's good as well. Club Central gets you all the controls you need to be a club officer. Anyone can do anyone else's job for the most part, most of it anyway. So if your president disappears, if your secretary goes on vacation, even if you're a sergeant of arms, go in, open up Club Central, you can do stuff. Because when we're calling you at the end of September, if we can't find the president, we may be calling you to go in and follow the club success plan, at least temporarily, to make sure you get credit. But at the core, it's essentially what your vision is, what your goal is, and what your plan is. And as some of you who are very leadership oriented know, it's called the SMART goals, short for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and timely. And I'm glad they're sticking in these notes because I always forget half these things. The point is that at the beginning of the year, your club success plan is your plan of what you think you're going to do. Even if you don't succeed, take it seriously. Don't just say we're going to be spelled distinguished if you've never been distinguished. It's just notes and check boxes and ways to say, this is what we're supposed to be doing. And also, new for the digital club success plan, assignments. You can give people action items. And there are fun little stickers in there that you can earn by getting your club success plan done and for completing action items. And this is how you also set up your members for success, because if you don't assign people to things to do, you don't do anything other than coming to meetings, realizing, hey, no one has a speech today, let's do table topics. Don't be that meeting for new Toastmasters. You want to be able to say, I know I'm working on my level 3 this year, so I should make sure to sign up for speeches. You want to say, oh, who had the action item to sign us up for flyers for that farmer's market? All these things are part of the club success plan, because proper planning promotes proficient performance. Oh, I like alliteration, as I mentioned earlier. The success plan includes all the components necessary to achieve your club's goals. And as I just mentioned, determine the components in advance makes achieving them much sooner. And the link for the CSP, Sharon, is when you go into your Club Central, there's a big button that says Club Success Plan. It'll be in there. Okay. And Island City Toastmasters is already a Club Success Plan. Way to overachieve. Excellent. I love to hear that. All right. And of course, remember, you are leading by a committee. There are presidents out there who think, I have all the power. What you do is what I say. You are a team. Even the sergeant of arms, you may think, I don't have anything to do. You are all members of the same team. And just because you're sergeant of arms now doesn't mean you won't be president next year. I had a president of the club that I coach that had just joined the club a couple months previous. And she said, what do I know about being president? My answer was, we'll teach you. Because it's all about taking the opportunity when it's presented to you. And if you don't volunteer, you'll get voluntold when you least expect it. The more members that are engaged in the success of the club, the more successful a club will become as a team work towards common goals. Ah, cool. Somebody has thrown the links in the chat. Thank you, Christina. I already like working with you, and I barely just met you. Okay, so these are questions to ask yourself as part of the process of crafting club success plan. And the questions are, how many distinguished club program goals did your club achieve last year? If you don't know, hopefully the answer is not 0. If you're here and you got through their officers, the answer is at least 1. If you followed the officer list on time and paid your dues on time, the answer is at least 2. But as last year's club growth director, Dennis Dawson, said, a club that achieves 5 goals is just existing. I like existing as a club, and sometimes 5 is enough. The point is that having these goals is important, because you know what to shoot for. And why is it important for the clubs to think we're just here to hang out and have fun? Is because when somebody else who's brand new, who wants to also hang out and have fun with your club, comes in and looks at your club and says, oh, you don't have any distinguished club points, not that they know what they are up front. it means that they're not getting the full experience. It means they're not learning how to practice their speeches and get those levels in there to progress. So, how many club goals are you going to do this year? Can you do better than last year? That's what I mean about going to 11. Because some clubs like to what we call affectionately sandbag it. They just do the minimum. They do 4 level 1s. They do the 2 level 4s, even though there are 30 members in the club. What are the rest of the club members doing? Everyone should be contributing. Everyone should be doing levels, even if you have that category done. Last year in District 57, we had our goals set as the main goals +1. And a lot of people did them anyway. Do more, do better, be better. How many members do you currently have? Hopefully more than 8. If you have less than 8 members, you are not a club in good standing. If you're currently less than 8 members, then please put your club in the chat because we're here to help you find members. Because a club that does not have 8 members, 2 sessions in a row is a suspended club, no matter how cool your club is. So we want to know whether you're here today and what kind of help we can give you. On the other hand, if you have above 25 members, you're qualified to be, well, 25 exactly, you're qualified to be specially distinguished. If you're above 20, you're qualified to be president distinguished. And if you have more than 50 members, maybe you should try splitting into 2 clubs. Because let's face it, if you have that many members, not everyone's going to have a chance to speak every week. I like small clubs, but small clubs have trouble trying to survive because now you have less people showing up, and the sweet spot is supposed to be somewhere around 14. But you want to get to 20 when you can because it makes a meeting more lively and well attended. How many new members have you gained last year? There's a statistic floating around that says all clubs lose 20% of your members. Unless you are one of those enlightened clubs that never loses members like mine. Because when you create that environment that people want to come back to, no one wants to quit. You want to be that club, and if you can be that club with 20 members, even better. But getting new members is one of the goals. And so if you have less than 20 members, the qualification is you have to have +3 members year over year. And some of you remember back when it used to be +5 members year over year, and that seemed impossible. Regardless of which, you should try to gain members whenever you can. How many members are pursuing Pathways goals? As I mentioned, if you're giving speeches, get the credit for it. If you get the credit for it, you're getting levels for it, because every time you give a speech, there are skills inside Pathways, which the educational program, as you all know, as club officers, that means that you are learning the skills specific to that project. How many members can participate in your club meetings? Hopefully, that means you have your meeting being well attended. Are your club finances in order? Are your dues being paid on time? Or is your bank account looking kind of dangerously low because people keep forgetting to pay? There is self-pay, yes, but chasing after people to do it is part of the problem. All these things are part of something called the moments of truth. The easiest way to get your club success plan done is to do the moments of truth. And that is in this link here. Okay, so I see that. Okay, pitch perfect. Yes, we are going to be finding you a club coach. I've been informed that this is a thing that needs to happen. Thank you for reminding me. Okay, moving on. The moments of truth. I'm not going to go over to this in deep detail because it's better found online as following the link. But these are also the things that the club area visit from the area director will be looking for. First impressions. If someone walks into the room, how do you greet them? Do you ask them the question, so what brings you to Toastmasters? And then do you answer, well, you're in the right place? If you did that, you're in good company, but also you can do better. some of the clubs I go to ask the question, so what was something interesting you did last week? Because it's not about then telling them you're in the right place because you don't know that. You might not be in the right place, but rather making that connection early. Was the club easy to find? Do you have your website up to date? Are the people on your website picture the people who are no longer with the club? If so, you got homework to fix it. Okay, membership orientation. Do you have a policy in place? Do you have mentors for a new club? I know of one club that needs mentors at the member level because they got a whole bunch of new members. Go that club, and I will not embarrass them in front of them, but yes, having members who are senior enough to mentor other members is super important because having that one-on-one interaction, if someone did it for you, pay it forwards. Fellowship, variety, and communication. What does this mean? It basically means, are you making sure that everyone is doing their speeches? Or did somebody not give a speech for over a year? Or is somebody that senior member who says, I've got my pathways credit done, I don't need to give speeches ever again? Why not? I am on my 6th path right now. Because let's face it, when you give speeches, if you stop giving speeches, you get rusty. And you're here to talk. And if no one else gives a speech, why not you? All right. Program planning. A meeting oh, that's too far. Meeting organization. How well run our club meetings? Are the rules carried out to a high standard? Which basically means, do you have your agenda done before the meeting, and not 2 minutes before the meeting starts? And is everyone assigned to something? How organized are you? Membership strength is, are you retaining your members? And are you actively recruiting new members? If not, when was the last time you put a flyer out? When was the last time you asked your neighbor in the next cubicle, could you use more public speaking skills? The answer is yes, they can. Bring them to Toastmasters. Passive advertisement is also helpful because I have on my bulletin board at work that scrolls past everyone. Learn better public speaking, contact me. And we also have it as our educational program out there. There's also nothing wrong about sticking it on the bulletin board at your local farmers market and Starbucks. Finally, most importantly, in some ways, achievement recognition. Are members being recognized and praised for their achievements? And you're supposed to run this moments of truth thing every time, every year, before your area director comes to visit, because they'll ask you, when was the last time you did your moments of truth? The answer is, here you go. Do your moments of truth. It only takes one meeting. Or you can split it up into multiple meetings if it's too long. Okay, now, distinguished program, which have already been talking about that. It's 10 goals with 3 types of criteria. And these are the ways that you make sure you have a quality club, because it's also how your club is measured around the world. Maureen mentioned in the Hall of Fame earlier, which clubs got the various levels of distinguished. And what that means is points, lots of points, lots of educational levels, doing the things you're supposed to be doing, and therefore having your club be on its way to distinguished early. We have an award going on that if you're distinguished by December, I think you get money to spend in your club, but we'll find out when we put out the incentives list, hopefully sooner rather than later. And if you need the club manual for this, they stuck it in the chat, so I'm doing it for you right there. And yes, the moment of truth is what we just covered. Okay. Let's see. On. How about that? Okay. These are slides that should have been earlier in here, and I'm going to move them if I ever do this again. But again, this is the Club Success Plan. Remember, Club Success Plan, September 30th, September 29th, or as 2 of our clubs already did, Island City and the Toastmasters, today works too. 20 members or net growth of 3 members. If that's possible, do that thing, because without the membership growth, you can have 10 points and 19 members and you get nothing. Find that last member. whether it's your +3. And by the way, what that +3 members means is that if you start the year with 20 members and end the year with 19, you're not distinguished. You have to have 20 members or +3. There are clubs out there that will lose more members than they gain, especially the ones that are in companies that do educational programs for 6 months, especially for brand new clubs that found 20 members, but some of them just kind of gave money to support the club and don't show up for the first few meetings. Regardless of which, you have to have +3 or 20. 20 is supposedly easier than +3. But as a member of a club that got +3 and a coach of a club that got +3 this last year, it can be done. Do what you can to keep your members, add members over time. And it's got to be +3 members on April 30th for the new renewal. Sorry, April 1st. Because this is how you keep members. You can't have people join in the beginning of the year and then drop at the end of it, because it means you weren't doing something right to keep them. Now, mind you, people leave sometimes because of real life happening, job changes, things like that. It just means you got to recruit more members. Okay, club in good standing. That means your dues have to be paid by June 30th. That's why I'm looking for clubs that have less than 8 members, and we'll be calling you. At least 8 members have to be in good standing, but also remember the 20 members and +3. Okay. And I don't know what the hazard signs are for, but those were new. Moving on. Okay, the education goals in here are 4 level 1 awards. That means 4 people in your club have to complete level 1 during the calendar year from July 1st to June 30th. If you did it last year, it doesn't count. It's every year 4 people in your club have to do level 1. I just started a new path, so I'm going to be contributing my level 1 to my club. 2 level 2 awards. Getting out of level 1 is hard for a lot of people. So level 2, there's only 2 people need to finish it. At least 2 more level 2 is a bonus point. If you have a big club, this should be easy. Level 3 awards, at least 2 of those. Now you get into the rarefied air a little bit, because did you know that 50% of Toastmasters dropped out before finishing the level 2? This used to be the halfway mark in the competent communicator. Yes, I'm that old. So level 3 is when it gets harder, and it's also the electives. The electives and pathways are, you get to choose what you get to do, and sometimes decision paralysis is a thing. But it's easier than competent communicator because you get to pick whatever you do. And one of those electives is active listening, run table topics. That makes it easy. At least 1 level 4 or 5 or DTM award. This is where it gets harder, because as some of you may have seen back in October, the level 4 or 5 award requires you to do things from the competent leader and the advanced communicators books or courses. And you have to do them multiple times. So the requirements to get level 4 have changed. And this means that getting your level 4, if it was you did before, it was easy. There's extra stuff now. If you're currently on level 4 or 5, check out your dashboard for things you need to do in Basecamp. Basecamp is in your profile, and it's there for a reason to show you what you need to do. Okay. And finally, there's also one more for your club for that. 2 people in your entire club have to get level 4 or 5 or DTM to get those extra points. In a club that has 20 members, you should have more than these. All right, moving on. How many levels can 1 member contribute to a club? Technically up to 4. But I know people who have more than 1 club, and there is control to split it out to different clubs. Your default club is there in the list. If you want to click the drop down for that. Don't give your level to the wrong club, because it's hard to undo it and give it back. And other things that are in the DCP points are add at least 4 new dual reinstated members By the way, if you lose members, you still keep the point. 4 more members. Again, remember that 20 member thing with 40% turnover? 8 is 40% of 20. So they want you to add the points there. And then, of course, send offers to training. You're here right now, but you have to do it twice. So even if you're here today, you also have to go again in November to February. And why are you going again? Because the second half of this, we change the training. So that's new, that's cool, that's different. Is that level, the round 2 training is going to be different from today. So you won't get to see this again. Hopefully, anyway. They're still developing it. And of course, renewing your members on time. That's 8 members by the end of September or March 31st, 10 o'clock. Not midnight, 10 o'clock Pacific time, because you want to have some extra time in there. It's Colorado time, and everyone is trying to submit by midnight Colorado time. If you do it after 11 o'clock Pacific, it's too late, and you won't get the on-time credit bonus. So remember, get your officers trained. That's the whole big part, at least 4 of them. Okay. So, as I mentioned earlier, distinguished, select distinguished, present distinguished, and I hate the fact these slides are gray because it's not very readable for me. So the idea here is that this is how you get your levels of distinguished. And it's simply more and more points to get each level. Distinguished is 5, select is 7, the president is 9, but also at minimum 20 members. So you can have 10 points and 15 members, and you only get select. And medley distinguished is brand new last year, is 25 members and 10 out of 10. Not a lot of clubs did it, but I'm proud of the clubs that did it for the first time this year. So be aware that this is how we show off who our quality clubs are. And as area directors, if you can push to get your most of your clubs in your area distinguished or better, that's how you get to be area director distinguished. And of course, division director distinguished is at least 2 out of the 4 areas distinguished. And if we have several clubs that are distinguished, we start new clubs, or at least don't lose clubs, and we get 40 odd plus clubs to be distinguished, our district is distinguished. And that is our huge goal as the trio: district director, program quality director, and club growth director. We want to try to get our district to be distinguished. And most of Region 1 this last year did not get to be distinguished. It's a problem across the world. But as our new District 205, we get our slate wiped clean. Let's try for it this year. So we have to start at least 1 club over a minimum and not lose any clubs. Fingers crossed. We can do this. We have to try to do this every year. Okay. So your club has to meet all the criteria here. If you have 10 points and 19 members, again, you get nothing. If you didn't do that club success plan by September 30th, you can have 100 members and all 10 points. You can still miss out credit. We gotta do everything in order, and we have to remember to do things as best as we can. Okay. Finally, I have to ask, how do you recognize member and club achievements? In your club, whatever you do, the way you keep people coming is when someone does something cool. Yeah, I agree, Maureen. These are the slides that we got, and that's something that some of the other clubs have as well. Some of the things that you can do for your club: celebrate members' club successes. If you got distinguished this year, you definitely should throw a party, because it's not easy for some of us. New member certificate and induction. Induction, sorry. A lot of clubs skip this formality, but having something that celebrates this is like, if you remember when you graduated high school, college, kindergarten, sometimes that extra bit of welcome helps. Ribbons for pathways, levels, and path completion. These are available through the Toastmasters store, and if you have incentive district bucks, that earn for your club, you can use it for those. Buying people things that they can hang on their wall. My manager, the one that got me a Toastmasters, had a whole pile of ribbons stuck to her bulletin board, even though she was my manager. It means something to people. Icebreaker, enthusiasm, best speaker, table topics, awards. Some clubs do this every meeting, even the virtual ones. I know clubs that specifically get icebreaker mints and toss them to people who do their icebreaker because that's the hardest speech in the universe and also the easiest because there are no rules for the icebreaker, but getting up there is the important part. So getting a bit of recognition is cool. Social media and corporate recognition for member and club awards. Sure. Being recognized by the company not only shows your manager that you're progressing in the program, but also someone will ask, so what's this Toastmasters things? Well, let me tell you about it. And of course, personal and professional recognition. If someone says so-and-so is a Toastmaster, they may ask, what's that? And ask you, show me how it works. The place that I never expected to speak as a Toastmaster was at my dad's memorial service. And my sibling said, you're not going to ramble, are you? I said, no, I'm a Toastmaster. And they said, what's that? Point is that these skills are usable in the real world. Being recognized for it is just a part of that. Annual achievement celebrations. You should be doing that in your club, and hopefully we're throwing a party when Nadine is back from her trip. Okay, moving on. Almost done with the slides here. How do you make meetings more enjoyable? Well, we have all these ideas for making clubs more enjoyable, but really, it's up to you and your club. Having open houses is the way to get strangers into your club, but also to celebrate your club in general. Doing events that are outside your club. My club that I coach did a mini golf event and an escape room event. You never know how communication can come in handy, even if it's, can someone hook up my ball out of the water hazard? Post-meeting notes. Secretary, meeting minutes are important because you get to tell people who didn't make it, this is what you missed. And finally, meeting afterwards is a thing. And actually, Maureen, how am I doing for time? I suppose
I was looking to find the timer. I neglected to pin him. Oh, Ken, I didn't mean to not pin this guy. Greg, how are we on time?
We have 15 minutes. I'll give you the green at 10:55.
Okay, excellent. So I'm ahead of
Let's
schedule.
do this.
Cool. All right. So, what does club quality mean to all of you? I want to have you throw some ideas in the chat for what quality means to you. You know, okay. Engage members, yes. Well-run meetings, yes. There's one there. There's one there. Okay. Let's see. Organized meetings. Also, being organized is good. I love it when club gets to say, "You seem like you're really organized," and says, "Yes, we have an agenda." Good feedback. All right. Start and end. Members, table topics. There's a flood here. Excellent. Getting the basics down pat. And can you create certificates to issue your club members? Yes, you can. We're adding membership. Okay, so member support. Let's see. Plan and general meetings. Member skill improvement. Always remember, if you see someone doing better in your club, don't leave it up to the speech evaluator to mention that. Just drop it every so often. Because especially if you're the wordmaster, grammarian, odd counter, and someone's lost their double clutch ability, mention that. The greatest feeling of being the wordmaster, grammarian, odd counter is to tell someone you come a long way. Because then the person knows you're improving for a reason. Finally, leadership opportunities. Because it's not just about getting up there and giving your speeches, it's about learning to be responsible. And being a responsible adult means when that comes down to that next promotion or that next chance to be in charge of things because the people in charge are not doing their job right, you can step up with confidence and competence to be the leader that you didn't know you could be. Let's see, where am I for that? Okay. Why you should be a quality club? Again, for the club mission, we provide a supportive and positive learning experience, which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in great self-confidence and personal growth. Because quality clubs are great clubs. I'm not going to read that word for word. So, wrapping up here, remember to check your club success plan once you put it down every so often to see how you're doing. Don't just file it before December or forget about it for the rest of the year. That's why there are action items in there you're going to put in there. And check back every so often. You're supposed to have officer meetings. If your president isn't holding them, make sure you do, at least once a quarter if you can. And simply ask, how are we doing so far? So, essentially, make the plan, use the plan, succeed at the plan. Let's get that. Yeah, what gets measured gets done. All right. Again, can't say this enough because I keep putting on the slides. September 30th. Better yet, do it this week if you can. Since you have new officers and while you're thinking about it, hold your officer meeting, get it done. You may not have it done completely up front, but an important thing about this form is that every single section of the form has to be filled in at 100% in order to have it followed properly. You can save the form, but you can only submit it if you have 100% there. If something's missing, you need to check something in the boxes in there to make it happen. It was buggy last year. If you run into problems, I'll put my email in the chat. I am more than happy to screen share and help. Because don't wait until September 30th and say, why isn't this working? Okay, it's a living document as it says in here. And so you can open it. You should be opening it multiple times through the year. So this lovely new diagram that is new is a graphic representation of the club success plan and elements in the role each club officer plays in this cycle. And you'll be getting more information on this in your breakout sessions, which are coming up. But every officer and every member is important to the vital success of the club, because if you present a positive learning environment from the get-go, every meeting, people will want to stick around and come back the next time. A lot of you are in clubs that the guest shows up, you're polite to them, you may get them to answer a table topic, but then you forget to ask the most important question. Will we see you next week? And if they don't show up next week, and you didn't forget their email, follow up. Sometimes everyone just needs a little bit of extra encouragement to continue, to come back, and to feel comfortable with your club. And also, one of the things I say in my own club is that we're not going to pressure you to join right away. I know some clubs that say, give us money, join us today. And for some clubs, that's the right approach. For other clubs, making sure you're the right club is important. Making sure the person can make the time every week or every meeting is important. I like to say, go visit some other clubs before you decide which one to join. Because if you join the wrong club and you pay your money and you decide you hate the club in a month, you're going to quit. Be the club that everyone wants to join, and you won't have to force them to join. They'll say, how do I sign up? I like this club. So the officer training is also about being that club that people want to join and stay in. All right. This is my last slide. I'm losing my voice. So good timing. There's this idea here that they're trying to push for these slides is that we're all part of an airline crew. It requires an entire organization and composed of pilots and flight attendants and backup flight pilots like me today. The idea here is that we're all a team in order to get the entire club to its destination of distinguished club is that we are here as a team to help. You are here to manage the flight of your club and serve the passengers by providing educational opportunities and encouraging people to give their speeches and to attend officer training like today. If you're here again today, thank you. You have the district and international resources to support your flight and your arrival at your destination. So now we're going to set up in the breakout sessions, and hopefully our lovely Zoom host Ken has set up the breakout rooms. Can we access these slides? I do not know, but hopefully they should be available on the Toastmasters website if you know how to find it. And
It is.
okay, so thank you very much. And there will be a second session after the club officer training session, but that is me, and I return the extra time to our district director and Zoom host to get people in the rooms. Thank you. My name is Jeff Young, and I am out of time.